What's up, internet? Welcome back to the channel, and I think this is episode number 4 of the GSXR revival, my 97 GSXR 600. So the original plan for today was to take the gas tank out, power wash it, and kind of do that first stage of pretty much a 4-stage process of cleaning out the inside of the tank and getting it recoated so we can use it again. I've got the fuel pump and parts on order, and I've got the treatment chemicals for the gas tank on order as well so that we can clean it out, recoat. But today I just want to take it out and power wash it and get it cleaned and ready for the other 3 stages. But this picture I'm about to put up was taken about 2 hours ago. It's a little cold here. Got just a bit of snow, like a dusting of snow. However, overnight lows are well below freezing and the highs are around freezing, and it's just too cold to try and take the power washer out and clean out this tank as best we can. So we're gonna have to put that on hold for a warmer day. Instead, what we're gonna do, or in addition to that, what we were planning on doing was pulling the spark plugs, make sure the engine turns over manually, and drain the oil, put a new oil filter, some fresh oil in it, and just kind of get it ready. One more step towards actually firing this engine up. And it's a bit chilly in the garage, but we're gonna press forward, and I don't dare open that garage door. All right, guys, let's get to it. All right, first thing we're gonna do is pull off all the plug caps. You know, for 15 years, they're coming out pretty easily. So, good sign. We're gonna need a different tool. I'll be right back. Universal joint. They're pretty handy. So the spark plug for the number 1 cylinder is at an angle where the extension, and I'm using a pretty long extension, actually hits the frame. You can't get in there straight. So details that you forget after 15 years. So use a universal joint. Makes it a lot easier to get it out. My goodness, it's chilly in here. So this is an actual spark plug socket. It's made to pull out spark plugs. It has a little rubber grommet inside that kind of helps it pull the plug out with the socket. However, that's not working. So quick tip coming right at you. This is a magnet and it telescopes. So you can reach into crevices and pull out spark plugs. These spark plugs look brand new. I must have been thinking ahead a long time ago. I don't really need the universal joint for the number 2 and number 3 cylinders, but I'm just gonna leave it on there because I suspect I will need it for the number 4 cylinder, but maybe not, but it doesn't matter. So we're just gonna pull out these last 3 remaining plugs. Now you might have noticed a couple of extra connectors on the spark plug wires. That plug didn't come out either. So when I was actually racing, back in this is a 97 model, so back in the late 90s, and I'm not sure when bikes started coming out with quick shifters, but back in the late 90s, you didn't have quick shifters on the bike, let alone programmable quick shifters. So I purchased a quick shifter kit, and it has a little thing that wires up, a little sensor that wires up to the shifter, and then wires into your plugs and basically kills your spark as the shifter moves. And you can, it's got a little mechanical nozzle on it, so you can kind of tune how that works, the timing and everything, and the duration. But that's why those little connectors are there. That quick shifter actually plugged into those connectors. I have since taken it off because not only do I not ride this bike anymore, apparently I don't race it anymore. All right, take our handy magnet, pull out those plugs. Yeah, in all honesty, these plugs look brand spanking new. They really do look brand new. So I'm not really sure why the plugs look so new. Best guess is 15 years ago. Before I put this thing up on ice, I put new plugs in it. Pretty sure I put new oil and an oil filter in it. We're going to change it just the same, just because it's been 15 years, even though it's been sitting still. It didn't run much at that time. I think I was still keeping the engine running for a little while, but I wasn't really riding the bike. I just kind of fired it up on the weekend and just let it get hot. But it was so long ago, I can't really remember. It doesn't matter. We're going to change it all out. So now we've got all the plugs out. The engine will turn over a lot freer than it would with the plugs in it. So we're going to try that now. I just remembered I actually have reverse shifting on this. Again, another thing for racing that's really, really common, so that you don't have to put your foot underneath the shifter as you're coming out of left-handers, because you really don't have room to do that, especially with boots on. So everybody pretty much ran a reverse shift pattern. So it's 1 up and then 5 down, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 6 and down. So we're in neutral, spins nice and free. Let's go ahead and go into second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So we're in 6th gear, and you can definitely feel the resistance with the crank and everything turning, but it's not that hard. So it's turning over. I'm happy with that. I didn't really expect there to be a problem. The bike's just been sitting here with fresh oil in the sump. But just want to check it before we put a battery in it and get the carbs on it and put fuel in it. Where's neutral? Come on. There's neutral. All right. Woo! Done with that piece. Let's change some oil. Hey, how you guys doing? That's the oil filter. I'm gonna take it off. My regular oil filter wrench that I use on the Ninja. Focus, camera, focus on that guy. Lock. Okay. F, yes, no, lock. I learned a new trick I didn't know before. All right, let's start over. What's up, guys? There's the oil filter. We're gonna take it off. We're gonna use one of these. The regular oil wrench that I use on my Ninja is actually just a tad too small for this, so we're gonna use this instead. These are actually pretty handy. They just get tighter and smaller as you move the handle, and so eventually it will just, oh, you gotta turn it the right way, but as you move the handle, it just tightens up, and you can see we're already breaking the oil filter loose. But before we do that, let's go ahead and drain the oil. What do you say? My ratchet is on the other side of the bike, but we were able to reach it. This bike actually has quite a large oil bolt, drain bolt. The largest metric socket I have is 19 millimeter. So I'm actually using a 13/16 standard size socket because it fits perfectly. And the next largest metric socket I have above 19 is like 27, which is way too big. So 13/16 it is. Am I going the right way? No, I'm not. Hang on. Oh my God, it's tight. All right, that wasn't too bad. It wasn't too tight. You just had to go the right way. Let's see if we can just turn it off with our fingers. This is actually kind of exciting. I haven't drained the oil in this thing in 15 years. I'm excited. Ugh, it's cold. Imagine that. It's fairly clean, as it should be. Like I said, with the new spark plugs, I'm pretty sure I put a new oil filter and oil in it. All right, cool. All right, time to pull this guy off. That came undone pretty easily. We'll just let that drip a little bit. Let's see if the bike shop gave me the right oil filter. Huh. Looks about the same. Suzuki genuine oil filter. Part number 16510-07J00. See what this thing says. See what it thinks it is. Whoa. Almost dropped it in the oil. Yeehaw. All right. Let's oil up the O-ring. That's always a good idea. We'll let it keep dripping out before we put the new one on. In the meantime, what pot number you think you are? Completely different Suzuki part number. Different part number. Completely different part number. But it's the same size. It looks the same. We're going to go with it. Okay, we are done. We've got a new oil filter on. We've got some fresh oil in the case. And last thing to do for this video is gap the spark plugs. Put the new spark plugs in the engine. Let's do it. All right, this is the tool that I use to measure the gap. So you've got a round feeler instead of like the flat style feeler gauge that you use on like valve clearance, things like that. You've got your little ends here to bend the electrode up and down to adjust the gap. And then all we're gonna do is just slide it in, make sure it's snug. It shouldn't be too tight. You should be able to pull it through, but it shouldn't be loose, and it certainly shouldn't have any play in it. This is already gapped pretty accurately. We're using 0.762 millimeters. The owner's manual, service manual calls for 0.7 to 0.8, so 0.762 is almost smack dab in the middle, which that'll work. So this one's already gapped. Hopefully all the others are about the same. Pretty good. I don't think I'm going to have to gap any of these plugs. They're all coming out of the box. Spot on. Oh, that one's a little tight. Not bad. It's good. It's good. I suspect number 4 will be the same. Come here. You might be in last place, but you're just as important as all the other spark plugs. And gap feels good. I like it. We don't have to adjust the gap at all. Oops. One more time. Okay. All right. Feels good. Feels good. The only other tricky thing is dropping the plugs into the spark plug holes. It's a bit of a gap. You just want to make sure that you don't drop them in there and they hit the bottom and bend the electrode up and tighten up the gap, which would not be good. Probably have a cylinder missing. Not a lot of progress made today, but we did make some progress. New plugs, fresh oil and oil filter. We've got lots of parts on order. Not only parts for the gas tank, but also the master brake cylinder for both the front and rear rebuild kits. And we're making progress. It's just a little slow right now. So next warm day, I'm gonna get out there and power wash this tank, get it ready for cleaning and resealing the tank so that we can get the rebuilt fuel pump and everything back together and maybe get this thing fired up. That would be amazing. That's it, man. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Click that bell. Gosh, I can't wait to get this thing running again. Oh, it's going to be so sweet. All right, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Until then, keep the rubber side down. Bye.